retro food fans. Today we're going to go to 1963 to make a now obscure but then insanely popular soup. And it's right out of the convenience food era. You are going to love it. Let's get started. Hey, this is YesterKitchen and I'm Jill, and today we're going to make an amazing soup that's not very popular anymore, but it was in the 1920s to the 1940s. Mongole soup. What is that? I'll get to it in a second. Was crazy popular, and especially when the convenience food era started, the recipe was tweaked, and I'm just going to start from the beginning. So the story goes, in the very early 1900s, there was a chef. His name was Louis Diat. There he is. And he was in charge of the kitchen at the Ritz-Carlton, New York. He's a French chef, so he went from Paris to London to New York. And while he was in New York, he came up with a soup called Mongole Soup. Has nothing to do with Mongolian, and I don't know why he called it Mongole Soup, but essentially what it was pea soup, and he added tomatoes to it, and the crowd went wild. So this was one of the favorite soups of John F. Kennedy. It's a pretty obscure soup right now. No one really makes it, but back, like I said, the 20s to the 40s, it was all the rage, and people loved it. And actually, it's really good, so let's bring it back. In 1938, that was a great year. That was the year that the president of the Campbell Soup Company came to the Ritz-Carlton and took some soup making lessons from Chef Diat. So he, of course, showed him Mongole soup, and Campbell's, being Campbell, said, hey, there's a huge convenience food era coming. Well, he didn't really say that, but they were in it. I mean, everything was all about convenience food, making the modern housewife's life so much easier. So he said, I bet we can take our split pea soup and our tomato soup and combine them and kind of mimic the classic Mongole soup. So back then they added a little curry powder to the soup and it was wonderful, but we're gonna do an updated 1963 version that includes cream and sherry because it's 1960s, cream and sherry. So let's get started. This is gonna take no time at all. You're gonna want 1 can of tomato soup. In it goes. Make sure you get all of it. And you're gonna want 1 can of green pea soup. Now Campbell's doesn't make straight green pea soup anymore. They make their pea soup with bacon, which I love, but won't work for this recipe. So I have actually Anderson's split pea soup. That's actually my favorite. But get whatever you have, because any green pea soup that's vegetarian is gonna work perfectly for it. So in goes your pea soup. And actually the pea soup is a little bit bigger than the tomato soup, which is totally fine because the original recipe was pea soup with tomatoes added. So our pea soup ratio can be a little bit higher, except it's a little all stuck in there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is get it all in there. And then I've got my handy dandy whisk, because when I make soup, I like to use a whisk. It just helps the condensed soup blend a little bit easier. So in we go. And then all you're gonna add is 3/4 cup of just water. And you're gonna stir it over a low heat until it just starts to warm and gets really smooth. So that's gonna take maybe about 3 minutes. Okay, our soup is just starting to heat up. You don't want it hot, you just want it to get a little warm. And now we're gonna add all the good stuff. You're gonna add 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire. You're gonna add a teaspoon of sugar. The sugar is just to kind of get rid of that tinny taste when you add any canned tomato product. And you're gonna add a cup of half and half, because a cup of half and half. Seriously, it's called cream Mongole soup. You need the cream. Oh, look at that. And now what you want to do is you want to heat this through. So maybe about another 5 or 6 minutes, we'll be back. Okay, so it's been about 4 or 5 minutes and our soup is ready. Well, it's almost ready. But anyway, take a look. It's just ready. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn off your heat, get that out of the way, put it on a trivet, and to this glorious mixture, you're gonna add 5 tablespoons of sherry. So Chef Diat was kind of also credited with the invention of vichyssoise, you know, the cold potato leek soup. If you don't worry about it, but if you do, some say he did it, some say he absolutely didn't, and that's what I love about food history. We don't know. There's no one left to tell us the truth about it, so we're just left to guessing. Okay, so all you really do is just stir it in. I've got to show you these. These are really from the 70s. These are my Campbell's soup mugs. Check this out. There's one. Is that adorable? And here, whoop, where are we? There we are. There's the other. Is that adorable? So your girl actually ate soup out of these when she was very little. So all that's left to do, which one do I, I'm gonna go for the garden one. It's just so darn cute. All that's left to do is pour some in a mug, ladle some in a mug. You can put some croutons on it if you want. But just like this, a nice warm mug of soup on a cold day is so perfect. It's so easy. Make yourself some Mongole soup. Show the family. It's like the greatest little easy starter to a dinner or a dinner party. You're gonna love it. And it's time to bring back these classics. Good, bring them out of obscurity. Bring them onto the dinner table. You're really gonna like this one. It is so easy, you have to try it. If you would like to explore more dishes from your childhood or just the past, I invite you to subscribe. I release new videos every Friday. In the meantime, here's some more retro dishes for you. Hello, retro dishes. And remember, every dish, even cream Mongole soup with sherry, has a story. I'll see you in the next video.